sometimes you gotta give people what they don't want. And oftentimes, what they want is something obviously is very different, right? And I was listening a while back, on audio, and Tai Lopez was interviewing the author, Pitch, and that this author had to go to a shouting match with a billionaire because his billionaires and millionaires have a power frame, and they see a world very different from people. And even though, so my intuition says something that I forgot what it says, but either it says save the world or change the world, something like that. And often when you rebel, it's not, people believe like kindness will do. Kindness will save people. But oftentimes when you do kindness, or you keep doing the things that they will keep doing the things that not enable them their life, right? You have to kick them forward into the future. Like, you have to make them believe that the better future exists for them, otherwise they cannot see it, right? If they hang around with people who can't see a better future. Okay, so here's the thing. If you live in a struggle and you're only worrying about today, not tomorrow, so you won't work for tomorrow, you won't work for the things that you need to do to make your better future. And so that is how they see the world right now, right? So I want to talk about frames for a second. Frames are mental structures that shape the world we see the world and put relationship in contact. The frame you put around a situation completely and totally control its meaning. But you aren't the only one framing. People are always trying to impose frames on each other. The frame is like a picture of what you want the interaction to be like about. And the most powerful thing about frames, there can only be one dominant frame during any interaction between two people. When two frames come together, the stronger frame absorbs the weaker frame. Then weaker argument and rational facts just bounce off the winning frame. So it's a great book for any entrepreneur, pitch anything. So everything that people try to do is every video that people try to do, every content people try to do, every message, every thoughts, or other people are their frame, and they're trying to see it how they see it, because they are thought leaders, right? And they're there to show you the way, right? Isn't it? To shape the way that they see it, to shape and mold how to destroy the frame that you want. You need to see it in a very different light, right? There's no positivity if you can't see. I was watching Michael J. White. If people don't know who Michael J. White is, you should check out his interview. But Michael J. White, most people who are tough, they're actually very sensitive, right? And that's why they are tough enough, because it's like armor, right? They build armor around them, right? And that's how people build armor, and you must taking it down to reshape it, to rethink about a lot of things that they don't understand. And it's a lot of things that we don't understand. That's why you have to view the world very differently. So Michael J. White, or he was in Spawn, right? the movie. If anybody watch a superhero movie, Spawn, it's a pretty good movie. That's a pretty good movie. And he's also in Bones. If you don't know Bones. And also, I wanted to talk about Michael J. White. People get angry when he talk about Bruce Lee, and he say he can beat Bruce Lee, but then he say he don't want to disrespect Bruce Lee and stuff like that. And so he talked about most often time when you're in the world of poverty, or a world where there's no dreams, hopes, and no light in it. You can't see a better future. You only can see now. There's no future. There's no hope. So what end up happening is you don't believe that it will happen, so you won't work for it. You won't do anything for it. You don't create magic. So that's what end up happening. And you're both saying everybody is worth saving. Everybody is worth in this world. Homeless people do care too. In this world, everybody cares. Everybody is a good person. Not everybody is a cold, hard killer, a psychopath. People don't go running around killing people, do they? No. But they generally care, right? They care. So that's why they do what they do. They care for one another. They do. That's why we don't. People often say, "Oh, we don't kill each other," right? But oftentimes, it's what killing them inside, right? It's killing them inside. It's not the other person. It's them. And so, being that stuck in that situation and mindset, it's not easy to say, "Hey, there's a better light out there." You can't see that. And oftentimes, they are good people. I remember my friend, we were having a talk, and I was listening. It's like, friendship, there's no transaction. It's not a business transaction. It's like, because since he gave me, the things that he valued, and he was always kind of helping, and I was like, how can I give back to him, or how can I help you, or something? And he's like, there's no need. If I'm a friend and I give you, there's a difference between, he told me there's a difference between you coming up and asking me, right? And he said, but there's a difference between a friend that giving something. He said it was costing him space in his room, so he give. So people take for granted that these videos are free, right? And these people want to censor, right? I think that you have to listen with uncensored, filter. If you want to, you have to have people in your life to tell you the truth. Otherwise, you cannot see it, right? And how can you improve if you don't tell other people the truth, right? And sometimes people say, "Oh, you shouldn't." It's not why I do it. There's a reason why. Now, if they're so brave, say something that offend people. That's not easy to do. It's like there's a pathway where you offend people, but you don't want to offend them at the same time. But if you cross offending people, you end up not living a life that's a crusade warrior, because warriors and rebels. I notice all the anime or the manga that I read, they rebel. They were born into a system that they hate, right? This manga called Kikashi, and he have an older brother and he's the younger brother, and he was born into a world that he hated and he didn't want it to be in it, right? And so he rebelled against it. He doesn't like it, so he started to carve his own way and carve his own path. So what ended up happening is that they destroy a lot of things, or most often time, those successful people that you see they often destroy a lot of things that people believe in, and it's get pretty heated sometimes. But the thing is, there's a couple of reasons. They don't like the system, that's why they do it. 2, they care enough to do it. Otherwise, they wouldn't risk their life to do it, because it's often so risk. If they wouldn't risk their life, why would they do it? They would just not offend people. I mean, if you don't want to offend people, if you don't want to risk not getting people hated on you or judge people, don't be successful. That's my... But your thoughts are your own. And how you care for people, there's a difference between caring for them, and there's a difference between kicking them up to say, hey, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but you don't see it right now. You're in a dark place. And right now, you're not the best person that you can become. That's my thoughts today. So, I mean, if humans... See, we all agree on something, right? My friends say human beings are generally good. We could have killed each other a long time ago, but we didn't. And there's a lot of things in America that are not so great. And that's why that's why they had the Andrew Yang, right? The basic income thing. And because, what was it? Wage, whatever the thing, like, because they have they will be soon rolling out the automatic truck, and a lot of people who drive truck as a job to do whatever will lose that, and then a lot of technology will destroy a lot of jobs for people in America that they don't have. And in America, it's a really shitty system that their technology is destroying people. It's coming, the age of Ultron. Okay, so it's coming and destroying a lot of potential. It's like, I remember back in the day. I don't know, remember, but it was back in the day where it was on television, and I forgot what happened, but there was people were rioting, and they were destroying properties, and they're destroying and I was like, why are you destroying property? People working there, and you're costing people their job. So that's what ended up happening with the property. What was the fucking call? Their job. So regardless, people, what was it? Brian Rio said, people are not paying your bills. Who cares if you offend people, right? And it's not about offending people. It's about, why do people do what they do? Why do I do what I do? Why? Why do I do it? Because I care. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. What's the point of me creating content for you and for other people if I didn't care? Like, what's the point of me doing that? I could just do whatever I want, regardless of my content on my YouTube, right? But it's because people have a different point of view. People have a very vastly different point of view. And because they have a framework or a frame structure or a frame mental work in their mind, how they see the world. And that's why people go up speeches, isn't it? Because I watched a couple of speeches on YouTube and see how it's structured. And speeches or speech are ideas. And you're taking that idea that you have that are connected with thousands, millions, and billions of neurons, and you're throwing it into the how is it? You're giving an idea. It's an idea. So speech is an idea, and you technically give it to the audience, and you tell the story. And now you're connected with human and you're downloading to other human beings the message that you want to give, right? So my message is like this: people have a framework and they live in that world too long and they don't believe that anymore. So if knowing this, would I do this, trying to take risks and destroy things? People say you shouldn't destroy things. Then what's the point of being an outcast and being a rebel? What's that for, right? I wonder if anybody get in trouble all the time. I wonder if people ever done things that they regret doing. I wonder if, because a lot of people have regrets that they done doing, especially adults. The only mistake, when I was a kid, I thought all the things that I've done, the stupid things, are mistakes, and I wish I could have not done them. But I don't need to go back and relive them. I just have to march forward. That's all. That's my thoughts. I mean, if people are brave enough to, they should put out content and hear their thoughts and give it out for free. That's my thoughts.